Hello and welcome to Game Club. Today, Judge Dredd, the Cursed Earth. We always said the Earth was cursed and now Dredd's about, so it definitely is cursed. Join us as we play and review. And don't forget, we're going to unbox too. Okay, so let's unbox. Okay, so the box, I'm a fan of Judge Dredd. I remember reading him as a kid. 2000 AD was always a great sort of punch or sucker punch to society. I like the fact they've kept the original imagery, which I think is really good. I like this sort of destroyed, decayed imagery. I like the skulls and the details here, which I think are really nice. Box is the same classic sizing. It's actually, I think it's the same size as their as Pierre Sylvester's other great game, The Lost Expedition, so I'm really looking forward to playing this. I'm just going to show you the back. I just like this detailing here, I really like it. I think they've really kept to the aesthetic and ethos of Dredd inside. Instruction booklet, and the instruction booklet is normally very good. Oh, I like that, that's a Justice Department field ration. You've got your cards, you've got your characters, which anyone who's played the Lost Expedition will be familiar with, and then you've got character tokens. Just to note, you don't have any dividers here, but I guess probably that's what that's for, but we'll find out as we play. Anyway, brilliant. I'm glad that we've got that open, and now we can play it. So join us as we will play Judge Dredd, the Cursed Earth. So some of you will recognise the components of Judge Dredd, the Cursed Earth, in the sense of you'll recognise some of the similarities, because obviously Pierre Sylvester, his game The Lost Expedition, which is a masterpiece personally, and you've probably seen the review we did where we were totally gloating of it. Well, it's basically so good that we basically gave it a gold star. We said one of the best games we've ever played, and we've played it multiple times after this. Well, this has some similarities to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it up as if it was I'm going to play a solo game, but imagine this is along the same lines as what you would do if you were playing a 2-player game or 3-player game, however many you wanted to play. Dusk token there. This your first player token. Obviously, you won't be using, but at the moment, that's what that's for. You've got your rations and your bullets, and then you've got your radiation and your health. And I keep those two because they have an interrelated link. But we will obviously discuss that. Now, what you're trying to do is it's a good idea to follow the booklet here. There's a very good opening with this comic introduction, but we will skip that for the time being. It's good just because, see, that's one thing I do like about the Lost Expedition, is you have a card which has this down, but it might be an idea just to keep this as a reference guide for when you're playing, because it does allow you to understand what's what. To be fair, it does, or it is pretty similar to what you expect or experience from the game Lost Expedition. Literally, they have such similarities that they're almost indivisible sometimes. But what we want to do is we want to quickly go for, these are our location cards. We want to find the max normal card, and then we want to shuffle these up as well. I should probably go through what all those cards are. So you've got your location cards, and then you have your effectively encounter cards there as well. You've got your judges up here, and then you need to just divvy up between them 5 health points. So I normally get all these out, but you go, so none of the radiation tokens go into, but 5 health points per player. So go here, 3, there's 5 there, and 4, 5 there. Okay, and the rest obviously you put as a pool somewhere. So I'm going to put the pool here, just off cam. Just, I think actually no, you can still see that, which is useful. I'll just take it all out, and then that's all the health. And obviously we need to place as well, just so we've got it, the radiation tokens. If ever your radiation tokens are more than your health tokens, your player dies. So that's obviously very useful to remember, because well, it's kind of like real life. The more radiation you get, the worse it is for you, and obviously too much and you're dead. So more than the health tokens and you die effectively. Now, don't forget the guy you're hunting is this guy here, Mean Machine, but he won't be introduced just yet. That's if you're playing in the against each other role, but we will not be playing that, so I will disregard discussing that, and I'd probably recommend you go and look online for that. Right, next up you need 4 ammunition, and then you need 3 ration, or ration depending on how you pronounce it. So 4 ammunition, and obviously some people keep these very neatly by their side. I am not going to do that. Actually, I'll put one the ration there, and then I'll put the ration on there each. So it's 3 ration, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Now, obviously, the logic of the game is you're hunting a wanted felon, you're chasing after them. We get another pull up here of both ration and ammunition there, both vital. I'll take these little bags away, I'll put these over here, out of the way. I'll just move this over as well so we've got it. I'll put that there so it gives you something to look at in your eye line. Now you've got your judge and you've got your baddie. I mean, to be fair, you can choose which is which. I have the judges as black and the baddie as grey because it just seems quite fun like that. And then of course at this point you get your location cards, and you take your bottom 2 and you take your max normal card, put it in, shuffle them up. I'll just quickly and now at this point you have to choose if you want to go for the cadet version, the street judge version, or the chief version. Now the cadet version is effectively the easy version. You remove 3 cards, which is the one I'll be playing now. I'll put those there. You've got the street judge where you remove 2 from this, and then the chief judge where you remove 2 locations and apply what's called the shootout rules. I won't be explaining what they are. They are mentioned online, and to be fair, I find them quite annoying, so I won't be mentioning that. What you will then do is you will have to get these cards and you have to shuffle them up. This I would recommend every time you play, just shuffle it again, really give it a good shuffle. Sometimes it might be a case of literally doing split shuffling, splitting up the cards and shuffling, or however you wish to do it, but you want to make sure that you get it nice and mixed because it will benefit you. You want to reveal the top 3 of the location deck, which goes 1, 2 and 3. Put your judge here, put your felon here, and they will continue moving, so don't forget you will need to keep moving or keep adding cards as you go, so get a big space. We're limiting the space here because obviously we'll just show you two rounds will probably be enough, so we'll do Dawn, which is our first round, and then Dusk as well, and don't forget obviously you have to pay for both those. So I always take, for the first time, I take it that you pay the food, your ration. Some people say no, you don't. The booklet is slightly indecisive on that front. Now, the 6, you've got to give 6 cards to your player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're playing a 2-player game, you'll get 6 cards each. If you're playing a 3-player game, then I think it's 4 cards each, etc, etc. We'll be playing a solo version, so it's 6 cards. It's pretty much like it is with the Lost Expedition. What you do is, I'm just going to turn it over to the but effectively the solo rules with Lost Expedition is pretty much the same. What happens is you will, at dawn, encounter cards will be rearranged in number order as they are added to the encounter row. Okay, so effectively what you do is you can look at your cards and then you can lay down the cards that you wish to play, but you do also get to draw from here. So we're going to draw 1 and 2 to start us off, and then I'm going to look and see what I've got. I'll probably add, let's see, I'll add 1 from there, and this is going to be tricky, and 1 from there. Then I have to add 1 more from here to get to the magic number 6, and I'll take 1 more from there. Right, okay, so I'll put these cards here just for the time being. Now I think that you can, they're probably just out of shot, so I'm just going to move this down a bit so you can see it, and apologies, the angle's not great. but it will hopefully give you a chance to see. So we put them in number order. So we've got 24, 26, 28, 30, 53 and 60. And we work from left to right, starting here. And as you can see, this card already will show you why you need to probably have the book on this page here, because it makes sense. Even seasoned players sometimes come across things they're not 100% sure on. So yellow is an event and they're compulsory. So effectively I've got a wound, but I've also got, luckily enough, I've gained a survival skill. So I'm going to take the wound from Judge Dredd, who has the survival skill, and I'll slot the survival card underneath there, him like that, and that's effectively me holding onto that card, retain that card, and I can use that instead of taking damage sometimes, and that is quite useful because effectively I've cleared off this number as well. Moving on to the next one, as you can see here, we've got options. We can choose choose between gaining radiation and skipping the next card, or 2 rations, so basically lose 2 rations but move forward 1 against the perp. Well, I think that's going to have to be me. And now, just to note, so you know, if it has the circle around it with the perp, then it means he advances, whereas if it has no circle, it means you advance, which is all very useful. So I'll lose 2 food, and I'll lose 2 food from, I think it's going to have to be from our psych player. I've just noticed Judge Dredd is missing 1 food. We didn't put him correctly there, which is actually, I'll just check that. No, yeah, that is correct, yep. I've just realised I should have taken 1 health from Judge Dredd, which I didn't do, so it's my mistake there, apologies. But I get to move forward 1, which is always good. Now we move on to the next card, and if you probably can see there, it's got expletives. And we've got lose food again, but we can move forward 1, which means we can actually effectively catch our criminal, or there's a psi, and then there is the special skill, which is survival. Well, I'm going to go for the expletive one, which effectively means that I will have spend diplomacy, which means I'll have to spend 1 of the lives of my dear friend here, Judge Giant. Then I'll have to lose a ration, and I'll lose that from Dredd, and then I can move forward 1, and I've effectively captured our perp. And there you are. That's basically the game. I'm not quite sure how that's happened, but it has, so it's lucky for us. Usually it doesn't happen that quickly. Usually it's a stinker. So the thing that I would say about this particular outcome is, if you compare it to, say, for instance, other games, i.e. the Lost Expedition, it wouldn't end so quickly. But I'll go over the review now. So as you may or may not have guessed, that wasn't actually the end of the round or the game. What effectively happens is you keep going through location cards, which is when you move or the perp moves, effectively a new card is introduced until you get to max normal, and you effectively then, well, either you catch him or they do, and in which case one of you wins. So apologies, but basically the gameplay was correct, and it was just the flow of each card all the way through, exactly like you would expect from Pierre Sylvester's other great game, The Lost Expedition. So, Judge Dredd, Cursed Earth, very good. Actually, probably one of the best games I've played in a long time. Not just because it literally mirrors one of the best games we played ever, which was The Lost Expedition, but also it has slightly more sort of additions to it in gameplay, which make for a very compelling and also still resource driven game. That level of mechanics, at first when I came across it, I thought, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, because it's going to be really impossible to be able to keep gauging what to do. Or the other thing I was concerned about was the fact that whereas the limitations in the Lost Expedition made it far more difficult because every card became problematic, I felt this one, well, every card wouldn't be, and in fact actually it did become problematic. It's just it's suspended for a little bit longer, and actually that makes it far more difficult and far more fun, because when you're playing it at first you start a bit brazen, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this, and the locations start zipping through, but then the location cards start putting things on you which mean that you are compromised, and then you start pulling out the encounter cards and you get compromised with those, and then radiation starts piling up and oh god, it's all over, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Very rarely do I keep games, because normally what happens is we donate games to Evelina Children's Hospital, but this game I will be keeping because I actually quite like it and I think I'm going to be playing it for quite a time to come. So well done, fantastic work from Pierre Sylvester, fantastic release from Osprey Games. Judge Dredd, Cursed Earth, gotta say, gotta play.